Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? It is the 4th of November. Where is the year gone? I say that every time, right? So I hope you've all been doing well. We've had a massive surprise from the non-farm payrolls on a Friday, released at 12K. I thought it was a typo. I thought it should have been 120, but it was at 12. We'll talk more about that later on during the session. Um, we'll also look into the RBA rates decision tomorrow for all our Australian friends in Australia. um, Enjoy your Melbourne Cup tomorrow. Let me know who do you think is going to win the Melbourne Cup tomorrow. And also, we have the US presidential election on a knife edge, and that's wrecking a little bit of havoc right across the board on all the major currency pairs, especially on the dollar index, and a little bit on gold as well. So we'll talk about all of that in this session. But first, all right, I'm back. And for a moment, as I was waiting for the intro to go through, I was just thinking, was my mic working? And I hope you guys can hear me okay. So if you can see me okay, hear me all right, put it into the chat and let me know. All right. But while you're doing that, very good afternoon, Augusto. How are you doing? Hey, Lindley, welcome back. Good to see you again. Um, I don't know why you can't see the join button. Look, on this stream, you might see it at the side there. Um, might be might be blocked. I don't know. We'll see. We'll try that. Um, hey, Jumarinas, how you doing? Good morning. Hey, Angel Case, good morning. So, if you're on the session, do remember to drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. Love to find out. And if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. And you can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button. Okay, we do that. Oh, good. Thanks for that, Augusto. Let me see. Everything seems to be working good. Awesome. All right. Now. A lot of yeah, if you're on the session, do remember to drop a message and say hi. Okay, now what has happened since the last time we spoke? Scroll back, scroll back, scroll back. Hey, good morning, Diana. How are you doing? Now, with what happened on Friday, right? Rewind a couple of days back. 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8 last week. On Friday, we had the US non-farm employment change. And you see this was a bit all over the place because if you scroll back a little bit more, no, wait, one more. Scroll back to Wednesday. Well, let me do one more. JOLTS jobs openings in the US was 7.44 mil, lower than previous, lower than expected, which led me to think that ADP non-farm was going to be low, but ADP non-farm came out at 233K, higher than previous, higher than expected. Then I was in that middle ground where I thought, okay, jobs openings a little bit lower, ADP non-farm a little bit higher, maybe on the US non-farm employment change number, we were going to see a little bit higher, right? I thought that it was going to be about that 150 number. Then at 8:30, when I saw 12K, 12K, I was looking at it and I thought, is that a typo? Are we going to see a revision to 120? I would much have preferred it to be at 120, but it got released at 12K release in the non-farm employment change for the US um, for last month. Now, the reason behind that is, firstly, it's something I forgot. I totally, forgot to consider is the hurricanes, right? The weather, the natural disaster in Florida and in parts of the US. I think there were two major hurricanes during that previous month. So that led to a lot of, well, no jobs, not people not working, taking refuge, moving out of the house, which led to this lower number. Right, one of the biggest reasons which led to this lower number, and then also there were a couple of labor strikes that also led to, a reduction in number. So overall, still didn't expect that low a number at 12, but at least we kind of figure out why it is at 12, mainly because of the natural disaster that the US saw twice. I think it was twice over last month. Okay, so just explaining why we saw 12K with that average hourly earnings up slightly. Well, it was a zero point 0.4, stayed at 0.4, not a 0.3 as they had expected, but unemployment rate stayed at a 4.1%. Okay, with this news, what we did see on the dollar index was at 8:30. It was trading along 104. On release of the news, it just went straight down to 103.68 or 103.70, and you will see that it was outside of the Bollinger Band, spiked right out and came right back in again. Right, so out of the Bollinger Band, below that support level, 61.8, came right out and then came right back in again. The reason why my best guess reason on why it spiked down and didn't push lower is because as I just shared, it's the natural disaster, so it's a bit of a it's not indicative of the economy, right? It's more a, I can't think of the word right now. It's more of a influenced by the weather. Lack of a better word, it's influenced by the weather. So we saw it spike down on reaction, but then everyone thought, okay, it's because of the weather, it's not because of the US economy. It came right back up again. So we saw it bounce off this support level pretty much as we had seen, but not for that same reason, where it came down, bounced off the support and pushed up. I thought it would get up to 104.60, but it went as high as 104.30 before this morning gapping right down again. All right, gapping right down, now staging a bit of a recovery. So that was what happened over Friday with the non-farm employment change number, leading to a big spike down on the dollar index, a quick recovery because the number was influenced or most likely influenced by the hurricanes, not indicative of a slowdown in the US economy. Sorry, push right back up again. Then we have daylight savings in the US and in Canada. Through today, no major news to be released. The Japanese are on a bank holiday as well. Through to tomorrow, where we have the Aussie interest rate decision to be released and Melbourne Cup, the race that stops the nation. I used to love this day. I used to love the first Tuesday of November when I was working in Australia because that would be the day where I don't have to work. We'll be all watching the race, we'll be having lunch, we'll be enjoying a great day. So if you're in Australia, do enjoy your Melbourne Cup day, your race day. Okay, I'll tell you more about that shortly. And then we have the US elections tomorrow night, right? And what we have from this is that here we go. Headliner where dollar weakens as US polls signal no clear leader. Like I was saying right at the start, still on a knife's edge at the moment. No clear leader, leading to some uncertainty. I don't think I mean, there's always going to be an outcome. Um, the uncertainty has led to the dollar index gapping down from 104.30 to 103.95, push down, breaking that support lower. I think this move lower also contributed by what we saw on Friday, right? You must remember that on Friday night at 8:30, it would be 11, 12 o'clock in Australia. They might not have seen the news. They wouldn't have traded a non-farm. Come to Monday, they would have firstly seen the uncertainty in the US elections. They would have seen and reacted to that 12K number for the non-farm. So we saw a gap down, a push lower, but it's now showing a little bit of a retrace back up. So the question is it going to go all the way back up? Or is it going to go up halfway and then come back down again? We'll look into that shortly. Okay, so presidential election to come. Who do you think? I've asked this question before, but who do you think is going to win? Trump, Harris? Put it into the chat and let me know. Put it into the chat and let me know. Okay. With that, while you're doing that, good morning, Stefan. How are you doing? Hey, Jimmy, good to see you. Hey, Richard, good morning. Hey, Noachuku, good to see you too. All right. Now, while you're giving your best guess on Trump or Harris or Kamala, put it into the chat. We have the Aussie interest rate decision tomorrow. Current rates at 4.35%. If you remember last week on whichever day it was, let me see. I think it was Tuesday. No, Wednesday. We had a CPI for the Aussie. It was a 2.7%. It's expected 2.3. It got released at a 2.1%. So inflation growth for the Aussies down to 2.1%, well within its 2 to 3% target range, which has led to some speculation that the RBA could be looking to cut rates. I think it might be a little bit early. To cut rates this time round. Not ruling out a surprise, but it's a very slim chance. Maybe in a rate statement, they might indicate the likelihood of a rate cut early next year, but I don't think they're going to do it this time round. Okay, so I still expect to see a 4.35%. I don't expect to see major reactions on the Aussie dollar, but I don't expect to see major reaction on Aussie dollar because it's still going to be driven by what's happening on the dollar index. But I do think that the Aussie could have a little bit of a spike if they do comment about a rate cut decision to come. Okay, might be a bit of a front running, so it might have a bit of a front running and a rate cut decision to come. This week is going to be massive. I've been saying that since last week already, because we have the Aussie interest rate decision tomorrow. We have the US presidential election tomorrow as well. And then on Thursday, we have the BOE, Bank of England, with their interest rate decision looking to go from a 5 to a 4.75, a 25 basis point rate cut likely to come from the BOE. And then the US Fed Reserve with the interest rate decision 5 to 4.75, a 25 basis point rate cut to come. That's Thursday night, Friday morning. So, three major central banks with the interest rate decision. The CME Fed Watch 2 has sorted itself out. We're not looking at a 150 basis point rate hike. I was sharing that with you previously, but we are almost 99.9% chance certainty that they're going to keep rates at a 25 basis point rate cut decision. Okay, zero chance for a rate no change, 0.1% chance of a 50 basis point cut, a 99.9% chance that they're going to do it by 25 basis points. So with all that said, let's look at the charts. Any questions so far? Put it into the chat and let me know. Thanks, Jimmy. Jimmy thinks that Trump is going to win. Put it into the chat and let me know who do you think is going to win. Hey, Sunil, how are you doing? So now, looking at the dollar index, we had that, take that away, came down, bounce, push back up, take that away, and take that away for now. Let me see, 61.8 is broken, that support level is done. So I can take that away, don't need that. Okay, that's 23, so this area is still going to be quite crucial. Okay, and then 38.2. So this whole move from right down here, which we saw on the first, well, pretty much the end of September, right up to the top by the end of October, right? It's up there. We see this whole area that's 23.6. Okay. So then now I'm just looking at this move. Came up to that 61.8 and gap down. That doesn't do anything for me. Take that away. Now this support has turned into a resistance level. I'm looking at more like that point there and there. Okay, so that all makes sense. Okay. Now looking at this. All right, now looking at this, what I'm thinking, Studio thinks Trump as well. I think Trump. I think Trump as well, so we shall see. Okay, came right down to this point. And, you know, a couple of the guys on Discord were sharing, I think it was BL, I think Jimmy as well, were sharing about some very good analysis about the election, right? What could happen if Trump wins, and we do think that if Trump wins, we could see a bit of a push up on the dollar index. I'm looking at this. Okay. So what I'm actually seeing here is that there is this resistance here at 103.80.90, right? It could push back up. It needs to break above 103.90 to trade up to 104.30. But I think that that could be the limit there. Remembering again that later into the week, we do have the interest rate decision to come from the FOMC as well. All right, so for now, I'm looking at the dollar index possibly breaking 103.90 to trade up to 104.30 and then maybe pushing back down again. Okay, so what I'm looking at today being the 4th of November, dollar index needs to break 103.90 to trade up to 104.30, which is also that trend line. That's the view for now, right? There is going to be a lot of other things that could happen for the next couple of days, but for now, we're looking for it to break that level and trade higher towards the top of that trend line. Okay. I think that's relatively straightforward. And keeping it simple, I think that's developing. I don't see it pushing back down. So why I'm hesitating is I'm just thinking whether it could hold here and go back lower again. Right? But I feel like it might push. And those of you who like, that gap, we might be thinking that it could have to cover the gap and then maybe push back down again. Okay, so I'll keep it at that for now. We look for it to break. The consideration is that, but the idea is I want to see that push up, test, and push back down again. Now, with that said, then looking at the Kiwi, all right, looking at the Kiwi, big move down, this level down as well. 61.8 is there. 38.2 is right there. So anticipating some dollar strength to come back into play is where we might see the Kiwi dollar continue with that downtrend. So it came up to 38.2 and got held at that point. So looking for it to push back down, you'll be looking at, I like it below 0.6. So you'll be looking at 5985. Take profit will be about 50 pips to the downside, 40 pips to the downside, 45. Stop loss would not be great, would be about 30. I want it above this point. That's what I'm looking at on the Kiwi. Okay, so Kiwi a dollar, that was 5985. Stop loss 30. Take profit 45. That's kind of the first move. I feel like if it can break, you could get into this trade. Then if it breaks that low, then you have another level down here, and then maybe even lower after that as well. No, actually down here would be good. Somewhere in the middle here. Right? So you would be looking at this in the sense that if it trades lower, maybe it sits there, you're looking at 5985, 30 to 45. If it pushes lower, then you could even be looking at a 85 to the downside. Okay, so that's the first one. Following on from that, and you can see that one plays out so nicely. We got a nice crossover, so we got a rejection of a 38.2 pushing down, right? And you got 4 red candles down forming. You got TSRI MACD crossing down. You're looking for that push to the downside. You could go a little bit narrow on this, 25 even, but I think that at 30, if it fails, you have space and time to close out earlier as well. Okay, so that's a nice setup there. With next, we look at the Aussie, so that didn't trigger, take that away. Now looking at this, I would say that remembering Aussie interest rate decision due tomorrow, 4.35%, no change expected, but could continue with that downward push. So now if it breaks, this was this level here at 6590. If it breaks down from this point, feels a little bit earlier than the Kiwi, so I kind of like it. You can look to go 6575, stop loss 30. No, hang on. Now let me just check something again. This move, I don't need that channel. Channel is broken. Take that away. This move 23 makes sense. Push down this level. So I got one more point here. Push down. Yeah. Okay. Then if you took that move down, you'd again, very similar to the Kiwi, see that 38.2 being rejected. These levels look like it could be something right now, right? 6590, stop loss 25, take profit, could go right down to 50 to the downside there. That's what I'll be looking out for. Then if it breaks, continue lower again, right? 659, wait, 6590, 25 to 50. Stop loss 25, take profit 50 to the downside. All right. This again, if you look at it on the Bollinger, well, within the Bollinger, so it might even be a close of this hour, something that you could look into. Obviously, disclaimer applies. All right. Then, okay, I like that. Then onto the pound dollar. We're looking for that push down. You know, dollar strength scenario didn't happen. It pushed right up. We take all that away, all that move away. There we go. Now, looking at this, what you should see is that move, that resistance being held, right? I don't want to get to the point where we're predicting too much dollar strength scenarios because it could just test and reject the push back down. Uh, but we're looking, I'm kind of thinking that the pound dollar could test, bounce, test, and then do that to the downside, right? Just based on what we're seeing up here. So what I kind of want to see, I don't think it's worth doing that. Oh, actually, so that's the whole 38.2 area. Again, remembering that we have the UK, the BOE with their rates decision to be released later this week as well. Looking for that possibly to test and bounce. So I might want to see that it rejects that resistance and breaks that trend line. 1.2985, stop loss 40, take profit. We've got 130 to the downside. I kind of like that. Kind of that move. right? So we see that. So if you look at this, it's almost a similar, not as steep, right? This is a big steep trend line, a bit more gentle on this one, but it moves up. It tested this level, right? It tested this level, rejected, and then when it broke down, it had that big move down. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, where it would test, bounce up, reject this area, and then come right back down again. So 1.2985, 40 to 130. 1.2985, stop loss 40. Oh, I have it there. 40, take profit 130 to the downside. And then on to the euro dollar, right? We were looking for that. It didn't happen, didn't trigger. Take that away. I had a quick scalp on the euro. I was sharing with you guys on Discord earlier this morning. Big push down, 38.2. 23 is broken, so take that away. 38 is there. This point here, okay? I don't need this for now. This is a level that we're looking at. What I'm actually, as much as I see this pushing likely to cross to the downside, right? One thing you notice, or one thing you should notice, is that we don't have, for as much as there's big news right across the board, the euro news for the euro seems a little bit low, right? Nothing today, nothing, not much for tomorrow. Yep, not much for tomorrow. Day after, we only have some services PMI to be released. We have the pound, we have the US. We don't have anything for in the eurozone. So I'm actually thinking that maybe we could see the euro gain. Yeah, we could see the euro gain. Especially if the dollar, the uncertainty continues, the dollar fails to break above this resistance area and pushes back down with an interim level and maybe more downside towards 1.102.90. We could see the euro gain now at just below 109. If it breaks above 109, we could see it trade up. Euro until FOMC, yeah. Right. So what you could be looking for, 109.10, stop loss 30, take profit 70, 80, 90 to the upside. A bit of a longer term play, but I think that could be something to look out for. Okay, 109. Take that away first. 109.1, 1.0910. Stop loss 30, take profit 90 to the upside. Then I'll be really watching that quite closely. If it fails to break, we could see it push back down. Look at that. You see eyes and a sad face all the way back down. Sorry, something caught my attention there. Okay, now with that, I think that could work out as well. We got multiple different scenarios this way. Would it try to fill the gap and then upwards? I think that if it fills the gap, the momentum might push it all the way lower. I don't think it would just fill the gap and push back up. I think if it fills the gap, we might see it come back into this area here. So firstly, if it comes down to fill this, then it might come down to test this area before pushing back up. So it look like that, right? Momentum is going to push it right down. I think for now, I would say that it looks like it might sit there and then push up if the dollar weakens. Oh, definitely, I would love to buy at the bottom, but I want to kind of see it bounce first. Either look for it to do that or sit right across and then that. Okay. Now with that, then on to the US yen. All right. US yen was looking for that test and reject. Take that away, didn't happen. Didn't break below that 50 retracement level to trade lower. So this is why your levels are so important. It keeps you out of harm's way. Not only, if you have the setup and it plays out, it gets you into a good trade and makes you money. But if it doesn't, it prevents you from getting into a bad trade. All right, so how we headed there didn't trigger, so we take that away. Now at this point, I anticipate that the yen, the US yen, is going to be stuck in this range. I think I said that last time around. No, okay. I think I said that a couple of days before that. US yen, Japan on a, let me see. I don't want to draw too many lines. Let me just check this one. So that's that area there. That makes sense. Take those two away. Okay. So again, remember that we have the Japanese bank holiday today, culture day. Okay. Um, I'm seeing the yen trade up, holding that 50, holding this whole area, right? Holding this whole area, trading up. So it's likely to be within this range currently at 152.16. Could trade up to 153.40. But if you wanted to get in on this, your stop loss will be quite wide. Take profit will be reasonable. It'll be a 1:1, almost a 1:2, or slightly more than a 1:1. I would say that because I think that the yen is within this range, it's going to do that. All right, you're basically going to be either waiting for a breakout above 154 to the upside or a breakdown below 151 lower. In this range, I would say you could scalp it, trade it closely, or ultimately try and stay away for now because of the major news to be released. All right, so dollar yen likely to be, I'm pretty sure I wrote this before, ranging between, not ranging, ranging between 152 dot 150, no, 151.70 and 150. Okay, hang on a second. 151.70 and 153.70. 151.70 and 153.40. What am I doing? The numbers are all over the place today. Okay. Okay. Then with that, what we'll be looking for is looking for breakout potential following major news. Before that, I think it's going to stay within that range. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? All good? Put it into the chat. Let me know. If it makes sense, put it in. If it doesn't make sense, put it in. Now with that, then we look at the euro yen. Right, it didn't come as low, but it's pushing back up again. Euro dollar with that upward push, hence euro yen showing some upside together with the US yen showing some upside. That's why euro yen also showing some upside. If you did get into this, well, didn't fit the setup that I shared with you on Friday, but if you did get into this, you'd be up about 50 pips right now. Is it going to go to 140 pips to the upside? Possibly, but it needs to first break above 165, 166. Okay? If it can break above 166, then you got a small trade up. You'll be looking at 166.10. Stop loss will be tight, 20 pips. Take profit will be a 55 to the upside or 55 to the upside. Yeah, that's okay. That's what you'll be looking for on the euro yen. Right? Trade up, break above that previous high, that Friday level, then continue up 166.10, 20 to 55. Then on to the pound yen. It feels like I'm breezing through this. Let me know. 38.2 held, 61.8 is still there, still valid. Yes, 61.8 is still valid. That I got a confluence of levels here. That's why we've seen it bounce back up. Now at this point, it's traded down, it's bounced back up off the support. I feel like if you look at a pound dollar, showing a bit of that push, I'm hoping, okay, I'm hoping it bounces back up. If it doesn't, then you could even be, no, I wouldn't want to do that. No. You could trade it down if it breaks that trend line, but I think I'll look for that. Pound dollar showing some downside. US yen sitting right in the middle. So on pound yen, pound dollar pulling down. So we're seeing that trade slightly lower. I would say that we have that. It might sit around this area for now. Right, might sit around this area for now. One thing you should also notice is that push lower. So it's going to sit in this area. Then what you'll be looking for would be a break to the downside. 197, stop loss 50, take profit 100, back down. But I think before that, it might just do that. Then we look for that break to the downside. Okay, maybe not so much. Yeah, like that. So 197.50 to 100. Okay, then with that, onto the US Swiss franc. Right, it did push down and it pushed a lot lower and right back up. We know that's because of the news. We know because of the dollar index volatility there. Take all that away. You notice here that it's in that wide range, right? It's pushed, it all came all the way down, set in that range, right? Set in this horizontal range, then pushed up, and now sitting in this horizontal range. Okay. Um, Again, going to be heavily dependent on the dollar. I would be then now looking for it to push back up, but I might want to see it test and bounce back up within this range. What you'll be looking for would be 8640, no, 8645, 20 pip stop, 50, 55 pip take profit back up within this range. If it doesn't trade down and push up, then I'll just look for it to go up and then maybe look for it to come back down again. So 8645, let me put that in. 8645, stop loss 20, take profit 55 to the upside. Okay. Then on to the US CAD, right? So it tested, or it came down, tested, and it had a big gap down. This wouldn't have been a trade. We looked at this on Friday, so it happened on early Monday morning. So it wouldn't have been a trade that you would have got into. But what you would see here is that trend line, well, point of a trend line, point from a trend line there. And I can push that so that it touches those points. It came down to the trend line and bounced back up, right? Bouncing back up. So that's my resistance, back up again. I don't need that. I'll take some of this away just to clean it up. All right, that all makes sense. Now, as it pushes up, there's one headline here that you should pay attention to. There we go. US CAD teeters on bearish reversal brink ahead of US election. Right? Steep unwind in US CAD should have traders on alert for potential bearish engulfing candle on the daily chart, given recent trend for a reversal to follow a substantial bullish move, following a substantial bullish move. So, that whole area, which I've been telling you about for the past week. I don't need that. Take that away. For the past week, where we've seen it test and reject this whole area, we're talking about a potential push back down. All right, so back to the H1 time frame for now. Looks like it's going to go higher, but again, you see that. What I would like to see is a test like that, do that, do that, and then look for it to break back down. Right? Maybe. Okay. I'll do a little bit. I'll do a little bit better. And say that I'll be looking for that, then that. So form also a little bit of a head and shoulder break that trend line, big push back down. Trade it up for the short term, but be very careful as it hits a big top. Looking for it to come back down. Longer term move would be 1.3910. Stop loss about 20. Take profit, you got 100 to the downside. Get 100 pips to the downside first. Okay, but this is a bit longer term. So on the US CAD, we'll be looking at Selling at 1.3910, stop loss 20, take profit 100 to the downside. I would be waiting for that to play out. You trade it up with as good a 50 something, 60 pip move to the upside potential, but you would want to scalp or do very short term trades on that. But ideally, getting ready for a potential retracement or correction back down. Okay. Then onto the US, well, dollar, gold. What am I talking about? Onto gold. It feels like it's long, long, long time ago. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's a long time ago where we're busy buying gold up, right? All the way as it just bounced along and it kept pushing higher and higher. Aussie and Kiwi going down already. There we go. Kiwi forming up. I told you, end of this hour. We're 8 minutes to the hour close. Kiwi looks like it might be ready. Aussie, hour close could be an entry there. These two could be something to look out for today. Short term intraday trades. Disclaimer applies. Okay, thanks for highlighting that, Diana. So looking forward to that 50 and that 45. So it'll be a good if they both drop. I'm getting too excited. If they both drop, it'll be a good 90 something pip move to the downside. Bollinger is good. Break that mid level doesn't mean too much, but it'd be a good sign as well. Aussie as well, forming up nicely. I think it's a good setup. I think these would be good setups. Okay. Sunil says gold that time of the year that moves down. Yes, Diwali is all over, not really over, but overish. Um, so maybe less demand for gold right now, but it's been buying up. So it's like I was saying, it's been a long time since we were like busy buying up. We're just buying up. On the Discord channel, we were talking about it. Went up to 27.90 and then it just had that big reverse. That big drop on Thursday, recovered back up slightly to that 50% level and rejected back down again. Right now, you can see it also breaking below this 61.8 level to push to the downside. I was telling you guys on Discord, gold looks like it's ready to tumble. As it tumbles, you want it to break below 27.32, where it could trade down to 27.10. Straightforward. That's what we'll be looking for. Right? We talked about 27.40 to trade on 27.08. Now needs to break 27.32 to trade down to 27.10. 27.32. Let's do 27.30 to trade down to 27.10. Don't rush into this yet. Okay. Diana says looks good to below middle line will be good for a short on the Bollinger. Yep. That's on the Kiwi and the Aussie. So Kiwi pushing down nicely. Aussie pushing down nicely. Pound dollar has that trend line that needs to negotiate. Euro dollar sitting there. US yen could be ranging, looking for that. Dollar index is still trying. Euro yen makes sense. Pound yen trade down, bounce, looking for that. Sweezy, I'm going to ignore. I want to see that push up to push back down. And then on gold, breaking that level lower. We're looking for that move. All right, there we go. Short and sharp. Any further questions, put it into the chat and let me know. If you haven't already, do remember to click that like and subscribe button. The thumbs up does help. The link, if you is there. Linley, if you're still on, you can check out the description for the link to join the channel. So Linley was asking about joining the channel. You can check out the link in the descriptions. And those of you who haven't already, the mailing list is there. Do remember to join. All right, so please trade well, trade safe. I'll see you all on Discord. If not, then I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care now. Bye bye.